continue, insert coin. Back to split, legging hits to the groin. Live in Mortal Kombat versus Shao Kahn. Resemble dad and mom just to face my fear. I had not to care to conquer life. Needed balls, bollocks, cojones to embrace aloneness. Hearing your life's less made my decisions lifeless, but I digress. You 90s rulers of life a mess by your behest. We do all what you say for a quest. Intention the best creates intended tension. Thinking there's secrets in the Snowden. Mad after facts out and about, so we spout hate to what we create. An endless cycle, the fate we articulate, capitulate. Forward checkmate on a checkerboard, rise on a ripcord. To see pots, pans, looking up for fellow follow fans who sing praise and worship under all. But we can't have that unwanted subscription. We only subscribe to accomplish aspirations for those we say. I can't.
So, yeah, kind of sucks, but we're going to try again another time. But I just wanted everyone to see my brand new camera before I shut it off. So there's going to be a wider view. So now you see how lightly dirty my table is, scuff marks because of the chairs. It'll look better when we do the stream on Sunday. So off of the camera. We're going to have fun now, folks. I'm just going to send out the link again so we can get some people in here. It's always technology. Always technology with me. But let's have fun, folks. So, like I was saying, with this show, we got to talk about the dust up in New York City. My old stomping grounds, with Mayor-elect Eric Adams, former NYPD officer, detective. Then he became the borough president of Brooklyn, and now he's on his way to Gracie Mansion. City Hall, if you will. Yes, folks, this is going to be a problem for New York City because New York City has a history of bad policing and terrible policing practices. And believe it or not, folks, Eric Adams told everybody his plans for the city when he was campaigning. And the fact that Hawk Newsom and BLM NYC, including his sister, decide now to go outside. Okay, we're just going to say it my line. Jump out the window and go up. Because they didn't like the fact that he's bringing back the anti-crime unit. Anti-crime unit was a unit specifically think of like the Minority Report, except they didn't have firsthand knowledge of you committing a crime. They basically went out in plain clothes in the controversial stop and frisk program, where they would stop Black and Latino people in large numbers, basically roust them, and it led to a lot of arrests. Now, it was discontinued in 2020 when they did their quote unquote audit of arrests from that unit, and amount of people, Black and or Latino, were being stopped. So they got rid of it. Plus, this was on the heels of George Floyd, so you know how that goes. Never had a shot. So Eric Adams, as he was campaigning, they asked him about that, and he said he does not mind bringing it back, but he was going to change it. They weren't going to do stop and frisk anymore. But with the rise in gun crimes and shootings and murders on the rise in 2020, because we locked people in the house and people needed money and resources, so they went outside, he said, yes, I will bring it back, but I will be less controversial with it. And BLM, being BLM, did not like it. So they had to sit down. He again explained to these people, this is what I'm going to do, but this is how I'm going to go do it. And now Hawk Newsom, the quote-unquote leader of BLM NYC, decides now to go run his fucking mouth talking about if he brings this back, you're going to have violence and riots and bloodshed in the streets. This is why I understand when Brother Malcolm El Hajj Malik El Shabazz says that entertainers and actors and false prophets, he didn't say that part, but false leaders cannot be the voice of Black people. Because I'm sure when Hawk Newsom bloviated that statement, I'm sure in the back of his mind, he remembers Black folks sitting outside on TV interviews and social media saying, yeah, they don't fool with the cops like that, but they're necessary. They want the police around. They need good police. And just by the playbook, we have Hawk Newsom and his sister Shavonna now talking about they're going to galvanize their people to go riot in the goddamn streets again. Because, of course, New York, especially Brooklyn, did not suffer enough last year. You're going to tell Black folks and white liberals go outside and riot because of a plan that this guy didn't even enact yet. And this is the subject of tonight's show, folks. The Democrats are in trouble because this is a Democrat mindset, folks. And if you hear the anger in my voice, I'm about done. This just proves my point that BLM is a sham. We got people grifting through this organization, getting millions of dollars and don't do shit. Then they go outside and talk shit. And now we got somebody who's sitting out there talking about we're going to galvanize people to go out in the streets again and cause more people to lose more resources because he can't have an intelligent conversation. And the reason why I say he can't have an intelligent conversation, because he tried to threaten the mayor-elect in the newspapers and on TV. But they went to go see Dan Bongino on goddamn Fox News and couldn't even answer a simple question of, are you going to denounce violence? Then what pissed me off even more than that And I really hate these Negroes that pull this move. Negroes, I told you, if you're going to go outside and quote people, quote them completely. Don't pick and choose. Please don't act like black Christians and pick and choose when you're going to use quotes from the Bible or quotes from our great leaders to make your statement. Use the whole statement. Hawk Newsom decided to go outside and invoke Dr. Martin Luther King when he was talking about protesting. Now, he only quoted the part where Dr. King said that protesting and rioting are necessary. That's the only part he said. Folks. But this idiot forgot the rest of his statement, which I'm pulling up right now. Because again, I keep saying this. We don't elect these people. They just show up out of nowhere and think they speak for us. And then when someone like me comes along, like, listen, I'm not listening to this fool. I'm the one who gets the heat, not them. Then when they say stupid things like this, and white conservatives come for them, then they want to talk about, oh, they're racist, and then galvanize everybody to go after the white conservatives. So I found the statement, folks. I'm not going to read the whole thing because this was from his Pulitzer Prize speech when he was granted the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. So I'm going to read what he says. Here it is. Violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I'm going to say that one more time. Violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings about momentary results, which is what we saw last year. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle, but in spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace. It solves no social problem. It merely creates new and more complicated ones. And Hawk Newsom is going to go outside and galvanize these people, and they're going to get their heads cracked. Because we all know NYPD, just like LAPD, they don't mind taking out their Berettas on black folks, their Glock 9s on black folks. So he's going to whip up a bunch of black folks, because we know the white liberals are going to stay on the sidewalk. They're going to go clash with the riot police, and people are either going to get arrested, trampled, or dead. And he's going to sit there and blame it on white people. Because these Negroes do not think. Because you're threatening. Now, Eric Adams, he thinks like a cop. Okay, he'd be Carl Winslow if Carl Winslow leaned more to the right and he was hardliner. You threaten this man who didn't even take power yet. You threatened him by saying, the day you come in, we're gonna rip the city apart. A city that's already struggling to get back to normal. I don't see none of y'all outside, and I want y'all to hear me on this. I don't see Hawk Newsom ain't outside talking about he gonna riot over these shot mandates. I don't see this. You got to be fully vaccinated to go into public buildings in this city. I don't see him rioting to make sure that black folks in these impoverished neighborhoods are getting the resources that they need. I don't see this. It would have made better sense for you to say, If we look at anti-crime comeback, we're giving them 30 days. If we don't see that they change, then we riot. That I still am not endorsing, but that would make better sense. No, this idiot is going to tell the mayor-elect there's going to be violence and bloodshed in the streets. Then when he gets called on the carpet for it, he doesn't walk it back. So he's serious about this. So now you're going to put this man in a position that he does not want to be in. And I say again, you heard this man say this. And all the black folks that voted for this man, Eric Adams, up in New York, you heard him say, I'm bringing back anti-crime. You have a problem with the police. You probably still voted for him because you didn't like the fact that the white candidate was a Republican. And he does have his little bigot tendencies. But you heard this man say this, yet you still don't care. And you decided to go outside and say this. Then say it to Fox News multiple times. And didn't say, you know what, I might have effed up on that. So when we get our heads cracked, well, not me, but black folks, when they go out there and get their head cracked by NYPD, then you're going to go on TV and act all hurt. Talk about white supremacy. Here's the problem, folks. This is not white supremacy's doing. Unless you want to say Eric Adams is a tool of white supremacy, fine, whatever. But I kind of need y'all to go to Hawk Newsom and tell him this ain't the way, bro. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to go pay all these people's hospital bills. You're going to put that your words are going to end up as their last destination. I'm pretty sure you're not going to go do that. I've said this many times on the show. You can be militant, but you also have to be strategic. This is not a sound strategy. You sound like the BLM idiots up in Wisconsin who are sitting here gonna riot for a white boy killing white people because he might get off. And even if he doesn't get off, you're still gonna go riot. But you announced that you're gonna go riot, so the National Guard gets called in, 500 troops against y'all. I'm going to put my money on the National Guard. Then when y'all get shot, then y'all going to want to start crying. I got no sympathy for y'all. Hawk Newsom, you're an idiot. Eric Adams, you going back threatening this man, you're an idiot as well. As a mayor of a city, you're not beholden to this man. You're beholden to the other damn near 10 million people that live in New York City. That's who you answer to. If they want this unit back, you shouldn't have said a word. You should have said, this is my plan. You don't like it. It is what it is. I have others to think about. Y'all love to throw around, you need to think about others when y'all talking about this Belle Biv DeVoe, but this here, y'all ain't got no smoke for it. And y'all can send this to Hawk Newsom. If he got a problem with me, he'd come on the show and tell me. But I'm telling you this right now, I ain't Dan Bongino. You ain't finna yell at me. I will call you an idiot to your face. I've done this before. I'll do it again. I'm tired of seeing black folks go out here saying the most asinine things possible, and then when bad karma shows up, then they want to act innocent. That's not how life works. And the fact that you're, as a black man, representing BLM in New York City after a year and a half of the entire world exposing BLM says something else about your character. I would love to see your paycheck. And if you're a black person, you're going to get mad at me for saying this, that's cool. Leave it in the comment section. I'll gladly talk to you. I'm not riding with this man. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He's going to get our people hurt. Because he wants to grandstand. Humility is one of the best weapons in the world. Strategy is the ultimate tool in a war. But that's just my thoughts on that. Let's continue torching some of the Democrats, folks. Let me get this guy off the screen because his face is annoying me now. Folks, I warned y'all. October 30th, 2019, I told you they were going to pick Kamala and Biden. That was going to be y'all's ticket. Because they needed to promote the divestment agenda, aka white men, black women. The Democrats' two favorite base, the white man and the black woman. I'm going to say something here very controversial, folks. Don't get mad at me for this. Now, another YouTuber, Tommy Sotomayor, said that black women are the right hand of white supremacy. Very controversial statement when he said this about 8 years ago. But more and more now that you see it, especially now with Kamami being essentially number 2 in the country, it's not going well down there in DC, folks. I need the bisexuals to come outside. I need the contingent of anybody but Trump to come outside. We need to have a conversation. Y'all scared to go and talk to me. But y'all will talk all day on Twitter but mention Trump. I told y'all, I can diss Biden without mentioning Trump. I've done it many times on this show. This is your man's. This is the racist you wanted as president. Okay. Y'all laughed at Kayleigh McEnany talking about she can't answer simple questions and she was a joke. Yet Jen Psaki literally told black people, yeah, he supports the study of HR 40, but to put it in place, that's on Congress. But I'm sure if it comes on his desk, he'll sign it. So she's not even sure. He has said all the racist things over 48 years of being a public servant. Yes, he has, folks. But y'all didn't care about that because it was anybody but Trump. Correct? That's what y'all told me. This is what you told the entire world. How's the supply chains working out? Anybody but Trump crowd. How's that working? Were you able to get a turkey? This is what I want to know. I would love to know this. Were you able to secure a turkey? Were you able to buy your kids gifts on Amazon and Walmart's and Targets? Were you able to get that? We went to the supermarket today, folks. My wife couldn't even get Rice Krispies. She couldn't even get Rice Krispies, folks. This your man's? The damn infrastructure bill, that's a con job. This your man's. All this money. He signed it today, by the way, folks, if y'all didn't know, because I know y'all were all focused about Kyle Rittenhouse. This your man's. Y'all more worried about putting up memes about this judge Y'all still don't understand that there's 78 cargo ships still sitting in the Pacific Ocean off the port of Los Angeles. I just read an article that says warehouses are full to the brim with supplies. They can't move it out fast enough. Now you might think that's a good thing. It's really not. People aren't going there. And that stuff is going to spoil, and then you're going to have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in waste. This is your man's. Okay. Y'all worried about Danny Lay and the baby, even though I talked about it yesterday, but I ain't too worried about them. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris looks like she might get kicked out of her job, which means Nancy Pelosi will become vice president. This your man's. Divine Nine, where y'all at? Y'all served up Biden. Y'all got served up to Biden like a bunch of escorts, but y'all more worried about not Howard University having substandard living conditions. Y'all are worried about Issa Rae portraying an AKA without y'all's permission. Now, I support y'all on that. Go get your money. Sue her. Go ahead. Have fun. I could care less. But it might be funny as hell. Y'all worried about baby mama drama. But y'all don't realize that in a couple of weeks, people are going to start getting thrown out of their apartments for not paying rent in over a year and a half. And remember, Biden back in July said, I'm not signing another eviction moratorium. I'm not doing it. This your man's. Now, I won't squarely put all that on him because y'all should pay y'all's rent. That befuddles me more than anything. You didn't pay your rent with all that free money you got, but, you know, this your man's. Your man's is one lapse in judgment away from saying the hard ER. But we know you Negroes are going to justify it by saying he ain't talking about me. He must be talking about them. This is your man's. Your man's is sitting out there allowing critical pedagogy. Shout out to Coach Felicia Killings. And I call her Coach Felicia Killings because I don't call her Coach. She cussed me out. But y'all worried about critical race theory. I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about pedagogy. Pedagogy basically means teachers are going to indoctrinate our children on race to reinforce white supremacy and black people as a permanent underclass. This is your man's. Biden went on TV, folks, and proclaimed the money that he gave, $1,400, is more than sufficient to pay your bills. A stimulus check of $1,400 in this economy is supposed to pay all your bills. That's some people's rent, folks. That is some people's car note mixed with their mortgage, mixed with their what you call landscaping, all that. That's some people's household bills for the month. Groceries added into it. Gas, all that. By the way, California's gas is almost $4.70, folks. Record. It's $3.29 down here. This is your man's. They're talking about the White House is racist right now. There are bouts of racism running rampant and sexism running rampant through the White House, but we thought that was Trump. No, it was Biden. This is your man's. Biden's old lady, the babysitter, hates Kamala Harris. Doesn't want her anywhere near her husband. Sounds like House of Cards, but this is your man's. This is the guy y'all told us is way better than Trump. Some of you. Most of y'all just said anybody but Trump. Bet y'all wish y'all had mean tweets back. Y'all kind of wish y'all take a little MAGA right now. Kyle Rittenhouse is going to do a couple of years, folks. We know this. He ain't going to get off. Despite the judge letting him pick his own jurors and what he was doing during this case, in this trial, he's still going to do some time. We know this. This is white supremacy being off code. This is a battle of white supremacy versus the Jews. Black people, the only thing we should be concerned about is how they're going to interpret the law for groups like NFAC and Black 2As they're going to try to limit our guns. All you got to do is reinforce yourself, folks. That's it. But this is Biden. This is their man. This is the guy. It's funny. They did polls about a decade ago. I know a lot of people don't remember this. They asked, hey, do you feel safer? No, it wasn't a decade ago. It was about 2014, I think, or 2013. I know it was when BLM just started creeping up. They said, do you feel safer now in regards to police brutality than you did a decade ago under Bush? Do you know people said they felt safer under Bush? That's wild, right? I mean, he had Sean Bell. He had, what's his name? I forget his name. There's another big case, but they felt safer under Bush. And we know Bush is a racist. The Bushes are racist. We know this. But people felt safer under him than the black president. I'm pretty sure now they're going to say, hey, we felt a lot safer under Trump than we did Biden. Especially when Biden was running around talking about some, if you want to go to 7-Eleven, you need to have a slight Indian accent. Or if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Or the reason I was able to stay sequestered was because a black woman kept the grocery shelf stocked. But then get credit to the Dreamers and the Latinos as being nurses and doctors. But y'all didn't care about none of that. Y'all let the Divine Nine strippers, simps, the media tell you Biden was the best option for us to get what we need. And now here we are. We've got people running through the streets every day protesting these shot mandates. We have people on Clubhouse getting kicked off for talking the truth. Doctors and nurses are getting fired because they won't comply with the shot mandates. Him overreaching, talking about by January 4th, everybody that works in a company with more than 100 employees has to be vaccinated or take a test every week. They're trying to suppress the fact that natural immunity actually is better for you. Yet in the next breath, you see the CDC saying that the vaccines don't work. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't work. It's not as efficient as it should be, so you're going to need a booster, but even the booster might lower the efficiency of the vaccine. But then they love to tout out the stories of the unshot dying, but neglect the fact that the shot are also dying because it doesn't prevent you from getting it. They cut off all your access of treatments, then tell you in the hospital, if you're not shot up, we can't service you. But this is your man's. This is what y'all wanted. People warned you, if you put this man in here, everything that we were trying to fight against for 4 years is going to get accelerated. And here we are now. Democrats couldn't keep Virginia. Armageddon next year is going to be hilarious. Unless the Democrats do something drastic. I was wrong about them starting a war, but they're talking about U.S. and China are yelling at each other again over Taiwan, so I ain't too sure. Because Biden's going to have to raise capital somehow to pay for this infrastructure bill. It's either he taxes the hell out of everybody or he goes to war. I'm going to go for the latter because it's the easiest way to get capital. This might be the early 2000s again. And we all know what happened there. It's just going to be 10 times worse. Because we didn't have a surplus that the president can leech off of. But again, I ask the bisexuals, this is your man's. Come outside and defend your man. Please, folks. I'll do it here. I'll do it on Clubhouse. Contact me on Instagram. I would love for you to come outside and tell me. I'll even do it on Twitter. Tell me how this was the best option we had. Instead of another 4 years of mean tweets. And he can't run again after that. Off GP, you should have just voted for Trump back in so you can get rid of him in 4 years. Now he can come back in 3. And you can't stop him. Because he's going to have to move forward. That's y'all. So in closing, I'll say this. Y'all better wake up. Sit around here and y'all talk all day and act like you know something. You know nothing. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. I do my research though. I told y'all. Many other people told you. Biden's not the wave. But you didn't listen. You let BLM, strippers, the Divine Nine, and all these other people, white liberals and black progressives, aka white liberals and blackface, tell you that Trump was bad and all that. And thanks to your vote, we're number 4 on the voting chart. I guarantee you, all these politicians are they're not gonna talk to you next year. They won't. They're not gonna come down to the black communities because they think you're gonna go vote Democrat again. They have no reason to talk to you. They're gonna go to the Latinos and the Asians. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. The Asians are coming, folks. Bailey will tell you. They just elected a Blasian mayor. His father is black and mama was a interred Japanese prisoner during World War II. They're coming, folks. So West Coast is wide open right now. They're going to be fighting with the Latinos for power on the West Coast. And down here in Georgia, again, I told y'all this many times, NBC, November 7th, after those two idiots got certified as the winners of the election. They said it was because Georgia went to Biden thanks to the Asians. He won by almost 12,000 votes. 15,000 Asians voted for that man. And they usually do not vote. And I had someone on Instagram try to tell me they vote Republican. And I wasn't even thinking about that. But if they do hear this, because I'm going to put the clip up on Instagram, the Asians vote how country moves. So if they voted Republican, Trump would have won Georgia. Biden probably doesn't get in. But they voted Democrat because they want to take Georgia over. If you read that article, they said that they basically said we need to start exercising our political power here. That's why I said, don't be surprised if you see an Asian mayor in Atlanta within a decade. Which would kill the image of Atlanta being a black city. But y'all don't listen. But as they say, whoever doesn't hear must feel. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning into this short show. I put up some new content, so just click the link in the description box for the podcast. I put up part 2 of my interview with the Chopper Doctor, even though you can see it here on YouTube. I also put up the episode I did on Sunday about critical pedagogy in Biden. So on the main podcast, Beyond Borders, Bailey couldn't make it again because her internet was messing up. So hopefully we can get this done next week. I have a good interview coming up next week, folks. I think I'm going to do it on Beyond Borders, though, because we got a lot of things to talk about. There's going to be a lot of salty language. So, yeah, I think Beyond Borders will be the best place for it. And if you were here last night, I interviewed Brother Gabriel Bell, who just dropped a book called The Ultimate Black Man Radio Vetting Guide for Women. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, Base. But that episode is going to be up on Bet on Black on Friday. But if you can't wait that long, it's here on YouTube. So check it out. So I'm going to get up out of here. Take care. Stay safe. As per the CDC, wear your mask and get your supplies. I'm out.